Hello and welcome to your beginner course series in Pilates at Hayden Fitness. So we just reviewed our upper body thoracic spine movements. Now we're going to go to the lower body. So you're going to start off by bringing the knees to being bent, allowing your knees and hips to be in alignment with the ankles. So you don't want to be too wide, you don't want to be too narrow. So just that nice alignment. You want your hips to be level. So how to check for that? You want to push down on the body and find those hip bones. They're in there. You want them to stay level. So you don't want them to be tipping down. So now my hands go at an angle, and I don't want to be arched up so that they're pointing down this direction. So again, you want to kind of feel around there. So that kind of takes some time just to kind of know where those hip bones are and allow them to stay level. As they stay level, the rib cage also stays in that same plane. So you don't want to be popping the rib cage. So rib cage is level with the hips. And from here, your arms, set those shoulders back and down. Allow those palms to rest firmly on the floor. We're going to go into what's called an upright clamshell. So you're working to stabilize the pelvis, open up the hip to the side, and exhale, draw it back in. Stay on the same side here. Inhale to open and exhale to close. Again, your goal is not to hit the floor and change, allowing this to roll over. It's about stabilizing here and allowing that leg to open, and then minimize your movement on this side. So you can see when I open and I go a little bit too far, this leg starts to do a bit of a wibble and wobble. So that's what we're trying to work on. We're trying to work on isolating that movement so we can stabilize and have more control over our body. So 8 to 10 on one side and 8 to 10 on the other side. So if I was starting with somebody who is quite stiffened through their hips, you could step those feet a little bit closer together as well and open, because that just gives them a point of contact for opening, as long as they don't take the full body with them. Then from here, we're going to do what's called hip mobility. We're dragging the heel all the way out long, stabilizing the opposing side, rotating the leg to the outside, and then dragging the leg along the floor. So the foot comes along the floor in that rotation, and then it comes to an upright position. Sending it out on the inhale, and then exhale, gliding it back into place. And about 8 to 10, and then reverse direction. So open up, send it, gliding it long, and then draw it back into place. And repeating the same on the other side. So sending it out, rotation, and bringing it back in, and then that opposing direction after 8 to 10, send it out and return. And again, 8 to 10 of those on either side. And then from here, I like to get people familiar again with that neutral, because sometimes that will shift while we're doing hip mobility. So we go into our bridge. So again, shoulders back and down, firmly placed on the floor. You have that little bit of space in your spine. You're going to press that low back into the floor, utilizing your core to do that. So a lot of times people grab on their glutes, they squeeze them tight, and they draw and they drop right in. This is a core activation move. It's getting you to be aware of your transverse abdominis and where your hips and pelvis are in relation to your posture. So you want to slowly glide using your core. Then the recruitment of your glutes comes as you're exhaling to press up into your bridge. You're holding your bridge position for an inhale breath, and then as you exhale, you're working through that articulation of the spine. Now, most of us have little sticky spots in our spine, so it's not going to be necessarily a smooth glide all the way back into that neutral position. But as I get back down, you can see I've got back down to that neutral spot, and I have quite a bit of space, so it's really easy to see on a body like mine. So it's not always easy to see on everybody else's or feel. So again, inhale breath, exhale, recruiting the core, pressing and squeezing the glutes as you rise, keeping that core engaged the whole time. You hold here for an inhale breath, and then exhale, you're gliding that spine one vertebra at a time, keeping this level, watching those wibbles and wobbles through the legs, and returning to a neutral position again. So I'm just going to hold my arms up so you can see a little bit more of what's happening. So inhale breath, exhale. Inhale, hold at the top, and exhale. And into neutral. So I just held my arms up just purely for educating you on how that position works. Your arms would stay down beside you throughout that whole move. So that's your bridge work. Great for releasing that synovial fluid in through the spine, getting that mobility through there. And again, it's helping us for when we go into our flexion, and it's also helping us when we start to go into our tabletop moves. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.